everybody. I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 62, part 3 of the P's. I keep wanting to forget the pandemic episode because that was part 2 technically. Anyway, part 3 of the P's. But before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content, hit that bell icon if you want notification of any future content.
Or if you want to follow us on social media, hit the link below and you can find it all there.
All right, perfect.
We've played a lot of games since the last one.
We have, and yeah.
We've played a ton of games, so if we forget what this game's all about, bear with us, we'll remember. Well, she'll remember. So let's get to it.
Let's get started.
Pass the popcorn.
All right, so
It's not as good as it sounds.
I thought for a moviegoer, I think this would be
It'd be
interesting.
fantastic as a moviegoer, but we're not big.
We're not a big...
We're moviegoers, but we're not movie buffs. We don't sit there
There
and
you
learn
go.
every single
There
thing
you
about
go.
a movie.
All right, so there is no board to this one. This one has actually 2 different games
in
wrapped
it,
up
yep.
into one. There's a deck of cards for... This one is essentially... What do they call it? It's celebrity something or other, but it's essentially 7 degrees.
That is Star Connection.
Star Connection. This is essentially the game of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. That is literally what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this one plays, everybody has a hand of cards in there, and there's some wild cards, but you have a hand of cards, and there's a card out in the middle of the table, and this one says Robin Williams. I have to look at my hand of cards, which I've got too many, but that's okay. It gives a couple of ideas in the middle, but Robin Williams was in a whole lot more than 5, I've got it upside down, a whole lot more than 5 videos, or 5 movies. So it just gives some ideas. Then I'm looking through my hand of cards going, I need one movie that one person in my hand was in with Robin Williams. Again, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. That's essentially what this game is. So, Cameron Diaz. Kate Winslet. I don't know if they were ever... I've got a wild card, so if I could think of somebody's name that was in a Robin Williams movie, I could play this, but I have to have the name and the movie in order to play it.
Yeah, I think you're screwed on that one. So you'd have to play that one.
Angelina Jolie, Kate Winslet, Cameron Diaz, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And Jude Law.
Okay, so I would play... What was his name? Night of the Museum. The main actor, I don't particularly like his
That is how
stuff.
much of a movie buff we are. We can't remember actors' names.
What was his name? The main
I
actor.
can picture him.
I don't know.
Everybody's like yelling it out.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I would play the wild card. I would say his name. I would say his movie, and now everybody's doing this at once.
Mm-hmm.
So
the whole thing is to
it's-
get cards out of your hand because
yeah,
the
whole
cards.
thing is to get cards out of your hand, if I
Yep.
remember correctly. It was. It was fun. It's not something we'll ever play again. All right, the other one was a little interesting as well. Now this is the one I got to remember because I don't remember how.
This
one
was
plays exactly.
the movie game.
Yeah, this was about movies. You had 4 different things here. Oh yes, this was a trivia game. So you have 4 different possibilities here. You have storyline, you have characters, you have quote, and you have, and you're going to make me do this, and you have cast. So everybody has 2 of these up in front of them, and they have to choose one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And the trivia cards, and anybody who has quote. So if I put out quote, anybody at the table who has quote can answer this question, not just me. Whoever's reading the questions that turn reads the quote out of a movie.
Trying to
One I might actually know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go characters instead.
Well, you can probably
Okay.
do this. I'm looking for a movie that she would know.
Oh, all right.
So she would say quote. So I would read that it's a 1994 animation movie.
Okay.
And
All
the
right,
quote,
maybe-
which is what she's asking for, is, "You are more than what you have become. You must take the place in the circle of life."
It's got to be the Lion King, because Circle of Life. Okay. So the first person to come up with the name The Lion King would get the card, if I remember correctly. I don't remember how it's scored. This is one of those games you just don't score, period. But It was okay. I don't think we're going to hold on to it, though. I think this is one we decided we were going to get rid of because we have Blockbuster, which is another big movie game and does very similar stuff.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I don't know. we'll see. But at the moment, this one is leaving the collection. As soon as I
With
put
an upside down lid.
the box lid on right.
There you go. I've got her trained, folks.
Anyway, that is Pass the Popcorn. Your tickets to a fast-paced movie fun. All right.
Next is Pass the Bomb. This is like hot potato with words.
Yes, and I am so bad at this game. We played this one with our good friend Ben, who came over one night, just was bored and wanted a game night, so he came over, no problem. So here's the bomb. You're passing this around the table. Oh, Lord. I should know better than to give you things like that. All right, so you roll a die.
It just blew up.
Anyway, you roll a die, and what the die rolls, whoever's turn it is to go first, rolls the die. Whatever the die rolls indicates what you're doing that round. So, for instance, there is a tick. This one says the letters may not be used at the start of a word. I'll explain that in a minute. There's a tick-tock. Actually, it's tick-tack, but okay.
TikTok social media.
True. Tic-tac says letters may be used anywhere in the word. And then there's the actual bomb symbol, which says letters may not be used at the end of a word. Okay. So once you know what you're doing with the letters, you turn over a card. And these cards are double-sided, so you just flip over a card, and we have the word, the letters, P-E-D. Well, if I had rolled...
You have tick.
I can't use these at the beginning of a word. Well, darn it, that's pediatrician. Whatever. So instead I'm going to say stepped. Ends with the word. Then the next person would say something. And then the next, and the next, and the next. And you keep going so long as the bomb is still ticking. As soon as the bomb explodes, whoever was the last one, whoever's turn it was to say something and was unable to, takes the card. Lowest number of cards wins the game after so many.
And it's random.
And it's random. It's not the same amount of time every
No.
turn. It was fun. We laughed pretty hard at this one. I was really bad at it. Really bad. But it was fun.
But it was so chaotic that Ben liked it.
Ben loved this.
Ben
yes.
likes chaos.
Yes. Yes, he does. So, I don't know if we're keeping this one or not. I think we might. It can play a lot of people, and it's just a fun sit around the table and laugh kind of game. So, yeah, any number of players. So this would be a good one. For,
As you wipe the dust off of it.
There's a lot of dust on this one. Yeah. Okay. Next.
Okay, next is a duel.
Yes.
Patchwork and Halloween Patchwork.
Okay. We've had. I won't show them the box we're on this one. We've had Patchwork for a very long time. In fact,
That one.
Yes, this one. I've got upgraded pieces here. So these two play primarily the same. This is a two-player game. You start off, actually I've got two sets of upgraded pieces. I've got these pieces I got off of Etsy eons ago.
Oh, those are the printed ones.
Then I got these. I
That
don't know
look
where
more
I
like
got
buttons.
these. Yeah, and then, yeah, these are just supposed to be stacks. That's a stack of 20 buttons. But you have the little bitty, these are 3D printed.
And it has a 20 on it.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I have these little bitty buttons. And then sometime later, I ended up with these, which are, I mean, these could be used as actual buttons, honestly. They're pretty nice.
They probably are. Somebody found them and said, here, I'm going to sell these.
Right? I mean, they're perfect. Anyway, so the way this one plays, this is a polyomino tile game. Oh, thank you. You have your scoreboard in the middle of the board. You can go do either side. It doesn't really matter. They do the same thing. Each player takes one quilt board, nice big empty 7x7 squares. On your turn, you are moving this big old guy around the ring of tiles. You've got a ring of patchwork tiles around your board. And your piece you're moving this guy 3 spaces, up to 3 spaces, to where you want the tile you want to take. You can only go a maximum of 3 spaces. You pay for the tile, and it says right here how many buttons it costs. Buttons is money. You pay for the tile, you move your tracker that many spaces, and then you put the tile somewhere on your board. The goal being to fill up your board, because at the end of the game, negative spots on your board, empty holes on your board are negative points. There have been more than one game we have finished in the negative. So at the end of the game, the score is the number of buttons on your quilt, how many buttons you have, minus the empty 2 per empty space. Scoring in this one is interesting because you only gain buttons if you are going over one of the buttons on your scoreboard. So you're starting here and you're progressing by the number of spaces in the little sand timer on the tiles, for depending on the tile you pick up. This is one of the games that has that last player goes first mechanism. So if I moved ahead 5 spaces, great, I get to collect money, which means I would collect 2 buttons because I just laid this one down because it has 2 buttons on it. But then Greg would go, maybe he picked up a piece that only moved him forward 1. So he would move 1. And then he'd get to go again because he's behind me. So then he picks up a piece that's worth 4. Well, now he's right on top of my piece. He would get to go again. So he has 3 turns in a row to jump to the tiles he wants because he planned it, because he took this really difficult to place piece right off the bat. I have always loved this game.
Yep.
This has been one of my favorite 2-player games.
It's a polyomino game.
So I adore this game. I always have. This one
it's the same, exactly the same. It just has eyeballs instead of buttons.
Yes.
And a tombstone for the big pawn instead.
Yes.
And you have pumpkins for your player pieces, and you're picking up pumpkins instead of patches.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same concept. I love this game. We're going to keep both versions. Do I need both versions? No, probably not. But at least I didn't go all in and get the Christmas version and the US version and there's a lot of versions of this game.
I would suggest just pick the kind you like and just
we'll stick
use
with
that
these
one.
2, yes. Oh yeah, for sure. If you collect Christmas games, grab the Christmas one. If you want something with more of a patriotic theme, there's a 4th of July one or a patriotic one that has all red, white, and blue patches. It looks really pretty. These are the 2 we ended up with. These are the 2 I'm going to hold on to. But that is Patchwork and Patchwork Edition, or Patchwork Halloween Edition. I'm going to hold on to both. We actually have this one in both collections. We do have a copy in the other collection. This one stays in ours. So, all right.
Okay.
That is that. Next.
Next is Paw Patrol.
You won it. Why are you complaining?
I'm not complaining. I'm just like, it's a game for 4-year-olds, and it's definitely a game for 4-year-olds.
It's a game for 4-year-olds. This one is a combination of Candyland and Chutes and Ladders. Everybody starts up here at Paw Patrol's headquarters or whatever. They talk about it.
I don't know.
It is called, you can tell our kids are too old to have watched Paw Patrol. It is called, the first time you set up, game board, then select your favorite, the Lookout, Paw Patrol's Lookout.
Oh, right. What's the end called?
You start up here at the Lookout and you end at the mayor's statue.
Looks like
I think it's the mayor's statue. I'm not going to hunt through the rules to find out. Anyhow, it has Greg's favorite mechanism. It has a spinner on it. So, as you have 5 choices or 6 different choices of your favorite Paw Patrol pup to use on your board. So you spin the spinner. You get 2 things. The spinner does 2 things for you. One, it gives you the color you're going to be moving to. So you move down the path to that next color. It also tells you which badge icon you're going to pick up, because the badge icons allow you to take shortcuts. If you have the badge icon, then you get to take a shortcut. So if I'd move to the red space, but I pick up the flame badge icon. So when I get over here, I don't even have to land on it. I just have to pass it and move on down and take that shortcut and just keep on going to the color I actually rolled at that time or spun at that time. You get to use your own for free because each one of these guys has a specific badge, so they get to use their own shortcut for free, but everybody else has to have the badge in order to use that shortcut. So, I mean, I thought it was cute. It is geared for 4-year-olds. It is essentially Candyland and Snakes and Ladders, Shoots and Ladders, however you want to put it, mixed together. We're going to let this one go. I think it might be a little young for that collection for anything that we want to do with it. Yes, we want some kids' games, but I don't think I need any quite this young. So we're going to let this one go. Yeah, that is Paw Patrol Adventure Game.
All right.
All right,
Next we have an older Pandasaurus game.
Yes.
It even has the old Pandasaurus logo on it.
Yep. This one sits in the other collection. We picked this up actually on a road trip.
On our way down to Dice Tower.
On our way down to the Dice Tower retreat a couple years ago. We were going for something else completely, but we thought if we're going out of our way to pick up something off of Marketplace, we would try this out too. It was
Pick
like,
that up in Thunder Alley.
Anyway, the way this one plays, another very small board. You have your scoreboard, you have your playing board. Everybody shares the same board on this one though. So the idea with this one, the game starts out, everybody has 3 little markers in their color. Or 5 markers, I'm sorry. You have 5 markers in your color. One goes here on the scoreboard. The others, you have one on each side of the board. And they can get moved around throughout the game. But these are your targets for trying to set up paths. Then throughout the game, you have a choice of 3 tiles laid out in front of you. And everybody's sharing the same 3 tiles. So you may think you have a plan for your next turn and somebody takes that tile and you don't have a plan anymore. Anyway, so you are putting out tiles on the board so that the lines on the tiles match up with the lines on the board. And then the goal is to hook up 2 of your pieces on 2 of the different sides of the board with a clear path from one to the other. Now that being said, if I had a piece here and I had a piece here, well, there's already a clear path between one and the other. I'm not going to score any points for that path because there's no tiles on it, but there's a clear path. The idea is you're wanting to put tiles down because tiles are points. Essentially, each tile that you have to cross over to get to someplace else is a point. If that tile happens to be on the second level because somebody has built this up like this, then this tile's worth 2 points to me. If it so happens that there's a third level there now, that's worth 3 points to me. So the more tiles you are crossing over, the more points you're getting. The more passes you're getting at the end of the round.
And one tile could be scored 3 different times, just depending on if it crosses over all 3 paths on the.
Yeah,
because you could circle it around and wind it. And,
and we did have a couple.
And you're looking for longer paths with a lot of tiles on it.
Yes, it's an interesting game. It is a brain burner though. It is very AP ridden. I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but man, it was thinky. And we were, 2 points off last night? I think I lost by 2 points.
I think.
Something like that. You're going to see a pattern here, guys. Trust me. Anyway, I think it's a fun game. We're going to hold on to it. We moved it to the other room a while back because you're not huge on abstract strategy games anyway. I enjoy it, but it's not something
and it wasn't coming off the shelf. Yeah, it wasn't coming off the shelf.
I wanted to add it to our abstract strategy collection in the other room, so we did that. So anyway, that is Passtally. Very fun game. I enjoy it. But yeah, it's a Japanese game that has everybody talking. A snap to teach, yeah. Rich in strategy and depth, yeah. Compete by strategically placing tiles in hopes of creating the cleverest connecting routes between their pieces. And you're not only trying to connect your own, but there are times that other players' pieces are going to intersect. And it won't intersect with your direct path, but it may intersect with your a tile you just laid. So you may screw up somebody else's path in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And every path that's out there, you don't just score them once. You continue to score them throughout the game. So if that path exists 5 turns from now, you're still scoring it all 5 of those turns until somebody screws it up or you screw it up by trying to improve it and then accidentally breaking it, which has happened. So, but yeah, I love it. It's a good game. Passtally.
Yep.
Next,
we have the old classic Payday.
I lost this game so bad.
Okay, this one I was having fits at the beginning because I went, 5, 6 turns and was losing money. And she went 5, 6 turns just getting money like crazy. And then you had to pay me money and then it turned around and you started losing. You started losing money and I was collecting money left and right.
You collect $3,500 for your paycheck at the end of the month. The final score was something like 42,000 to 4,000. Anyway, this is the classic Payday. I don't remember the versions we had years ago being just like this.
I know. I don't remember some of this stuff on some of the old ones, but because this is a game that we had. It was one of my sister's favorite games, and she was always wanting to play this game, and I played it a lot when I was a kid.
I don't remember playing it much, but I do remember it had different versions.
I don't remember the cards, though.
This is the version we have now. And each, basically you can choose how many months you want the game to go on.
Yes.
So you choose how many months you want the game to go on. You're moving the speed of a 6-sider each round. And then you're up here at start, you're doing whatever you end up on for that day. There is deal. Okay, we're going to do this. Haha. There you go. There are deal cards.
Which you don't have. Oh, there's one.
Make a deal. Here you go. So if you land on make a deal, you pull a deal card. Some of these are auctions. The person who pulls it says, okay, guys, here is the minimum bid. It's $2,500. They don't tell anybody what it is or what the value is yet. And then everybody on the table bids for it until somebody is the high bidder, until everybody's passed. And that person gets the card for whatever they bid on it. There are some in here that are $15,000 values.
14. I had the 14 ones.
You had 2 of them.
Yes, I know.
I had a $5,000 one. And then I had another one that was like $6,000 that I never even got to cash out. Anyway, so there's that. There are event cards. Event cards are right here. These are all sorts of different things. It could be money you're gaining. It could be money you're losing. It's all sorts of different things. Like this one here. Makeover. Take a friend. $300 each pay to
the bonus.
There's a bonus spot down here on the bottom at the end of the month. If I were to pull this one, each of us is paying $300 because I just took Greg to get a makeover. To get all that caulk out of your beard. But anyway.
Yeah, that's why it's gray.
Yeah. So there are other ones that just simply say, hey, gain this much money, whatever. There are lottery spaces. Every Saturday they draw for the lottery, in which case you roll both dice. And there are lottery tickets. They're right here. And, of course, they're turned backwards, so you can't see the actual ticket. There are lottery tickets. Everybody starts the game with one. If it's your turn and you land on lottery, then you have the option to switch it out. But you roll both dice. If anybody matches, they get the lottery. The bank ups $1,000 for the lottery. Everybody else ups $100. If nobody wins,
it goes to the
side for the next lottery.
Time somebody lands on it.
Yeah. So... And then there is mail cards, and there you get mail. You take how many ever pieces of mail they say in the little computer here.
1, 2, or 3.
And then you deal with them one by one. Some of them are good news. Most of them are bills, such as life.
Most of them are deals.
Some of them, yeah. You kept getting the
That's how I got the 2 $1,400 ones, because I could buy it for the dice roll plus whatever it was.
Yeah, the dice roll times 100.
Times 100, yeah. So I was getting my 1,400 ones for like $300.
14,000 ones?
14,000,
Anyway, and then there are found a buyer. Found a buyer just simply means you can take one of your deal cards and sell it off for the value. That's all that means.
And then there was the thing with the black dice. That's one of the things I don't remember.
Okay, so the black dice sat down here on the bonus piece, and every time...
You rolled what?
every
what
time
the number was
white-
on
yes.
the black die.
Yes. So, okay, so if the black die was set at 5 and it starts the game set at 6, if I roll a 6 to move on the white die, then I get to collect whatever's in the bonus spot, if
And
there is
then
any,
set the die.
and then set the die to a new value. So maybe I set it to 3. And then 2 turns later, Greg Land rolls a 3 on his movement dice. He gets to collect whatever's here. Of course, I just took it all 2 turns ago, so there's probably not much there.
And that happened.
But I don't want to hear it. Anyway, it was fun. We laughed about it pretty hard.
There was complaining.
There was some there was some complaining.
There was a
I
lot of
believe it
complaining
there.
at the beginning.
Well, and they even give you.
I didn't name names. Jeez.
Anyway, there's even a loan tally sheet because if you don't have enough money to pay your bills, you can take out a loan. If you don't pay it by the end of the month,
And
neither one of us ever had to
neither
take
one
one
of us
out.
did.
If you don't pay it by the end of the month, then you have to pay interest on it, 10% interest on it. We didn't really talk about this one. I feel like it's a classic. We'll probably hold on to it for that reason in the other room. But, yeah, Payday. Not really like real life, but close enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. It was cute. Anyway, that's that.
Next, we got this played with our son and daughter-in-law.
Yes, it's one of the. I did not put that away.
Jeez Louise. I think it was somebody on the other side of the table.
Probably.
This is Parks.
I did not like
This
the sound
is
of
like
that.
one of their favorite games.
This is one of those games, as they said, they pull this out to relax at night and just play a quick game because they know it that well. That being said, we threw them for a loop and added the expansion in, which they did not have, so they were not familiar with that.
They have all the other expansions, but they did
the
not
one
have that
we
one.
have. Yeah, not the one that we have. I love the game trays in this. Very nice. All right, so this is the board. It essentially just holds all your cards. So the idea with Parks, you are trekking through one of the parks on different pieces like so. And there one extra of these, let me do this way so you can actually see it. One of these extra tiles is added each round. You play a total of 4 rounds. And these get you basic
Resources.
throughout the game. The problem is that only one person can be on each tile at a time unless you light your campfire. You extinguish your campfire. Unless you extinguish your, I cannot keep a hold of this piece. Unless you extinguish your campfire, that allows you to go to a piece somebody else is already on. Now you have 2 trekkers, so you can kind of maybe hedge your bets and hold one back for a little bit. But eventually you are getting back to the end of the trail, and at the end of the trail you get bonuses based on where you decide to end your trek for that day. Whether it be to reserve a park card, get the first player token, pick up an equipment gear for a little sunshine, or to buy a park, to visit a park. And the parks are really the heart of the game. You have 3 parks set out. Let me find 3, 1, 2, 3, there we go, 4. You have 3 parks set out on the game board, and each park has certain resources it wants. You're collecting that resources by going to these different places, and there are different tiles that let you exchange resources or pick up wild tokens. There's multiple ways to get the resources.
You got canteens.
There are canteens down in here that let you.
Up there. Yeah, these are the.
You start the game with
backpacks.
1 canteen, and then throughout the game you can pick up other canteens at one of these places. I think I had it up earlier. Yep, that lets you pick up a canteen if you land there. And the canteens let you put on a water droplet when you
fill up the canteen with water.
Right, you fill up the canteen with water when you obtain the water. You can't do it off of something you've already had in front of you for a while. And then you get to do whatever's on the bottom. This particular one lets you get a wild, but like this one lets you change that water into a tree. And there's ones that let you change 1 water into 2 water and different things. But the heart of it is you are trying to get to these parks. You have gold cards at the beginning of the game that give you kind of a direction on where to go. Like last night I had one that gave me, I wanted to have at least 10 mountain icons.
You played this last night?
2 nights ago. Whatever. Anyway, So I had one that I needed multiple icons, multiple of the mountain icons. I think all 3 of the 4 of us had mountain icons on our goal cards. We were fighting over them. I had enough. I just forgot I was supposed to be taking pictures at the same time because there are little picture things here that are a victory point each. And if you stop at the spot where you can take pictures, you get to collect these. I did not realize I was supposed to be doing that too. Oops.
I just needed mountain cards, and y'all kept taking them from me. I was one short.
But it's fun. I enjoy playing this one because I enjoy looking at the different parks, like Capitol Reef. I don't think Capitol Reef is one we've been to.
Yeah, we've been to Capitol.
Have we been to
I thought
Capitol
we've been to
Reef?
Capitol Reef.
I know we did so many out in the West. I can't remember if Capitol Reef was one of them, though. Great Sand Dunes National Park. That's in Colorado. I've been there. You have not yet been there. Someday we will get there.
There's sand dunes in Colorado?
Yeah, it's down in southern Colorado. It's one of the ones that I keep wanting to go to whenever we've traveled, and we just have not been down there. Cuyahoga Valley National Park. We've been there. That's out in Ohio. New River Gorge. We did that one on the way back from Jeff's in April. Grand Canyon. Of course, we've been to the Grand Canyon many times. Saguaro National Park. That's down by the border in Arizona.
Yeah, we've been there.
Been there. So it's fun to look through these and see some of the parks we've been to and see the artwork. The artwork is gorgeous. So this one sits in our collection. It will, of course, stay there. We very much enjoy this one. Anyway, that is Parks. And it's going to stick around. Checkers. So, yeah, beautiful game. All right.
Last but not least, we have a cranium game. This is a box with the lid on wrong.
Yeah, well.
This is Party Playoff. This is basically a bracket game.
This was hysterical. I thought for sure, going into this, I thought for sure this was leaving the collection.
Well, it was a cranium game, and we haven't really liked many of the cranium games.
Many of our cranium games, yeah.
This is nothing but you're going to fill out a bracket and see who wins the bracket at the end of the game.
But this is the best part. There are, well, let's do this. If you can see this.
You put little tiles out in the little areas at the beginning.
You only use 8 per game in each color, and there are dozens. So there's a lot of variety here. It's fantastic. So, yes, you're putting all these out. So say here in arenas, aka places, we put all these out. So these are the choices. And then, now mind you, at the beginning of the game, you know what the knockout challenge is, what the knockout question is.
Yes.
And that is right here. So say this was our knockout question. Which would be a better, what would be a better theme for a pinball machine? So that's our knockout question. Throughout the game, you're looking at all these comparisons. Now, before you even do that, everybody's making their predictions.
You got to get down to
all of them out.
Yeah, you got to predict your final 4, then your championship game.
Your final 4.
And
who's
then
going to end up in the final 2, and who's going to be the
undisputed
champion out of all these tiles that are out. So you make your predictions, and then everybody throws it in here to the unknowable envelope. So nobody sees it again for the rest of the game until the very end.
And then you
spin the spinner, which I love this stupid little spinner. It spins for hours. You spin the spinner, and whoever it points at is the person who chooses which side, which one, where you're going to start. And then you start with a question. First question.
So if we're going there,
it's going here with places.
Each card has the different colors for the different sections, so you can talk to, and then it also has the champion. The final 4 questions.
Right. So what's the one for this?
So this one is, which is a better place for a first date? So you would have...
So our first question
Hawaii or Silicon Valley? Hawaii.
Well, Hawaii, duh. Golden Gate Bridge or the Greasy Spoon?
First
the
date?
Golden Gate Bridge. 13th floor or Mount Everest? For first date?
Whatever's on the 13th floor. I am not climbing Mount Everest.
Okay, the deep end or the front porch?
The front porch.
I would say the front porch, yeah. So then you do that same thing with all 4 brackets. Then you go to the next question and you start over again. But now you're down to just 4.
Yep. What are you more likely to... Where are you more likely to be interviewed by the newspaper reporter?
At the Golden Gate Bridge or in Hawaii? Probably the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
The 13th floor or the front porch? The 13th floor.
13th floor is popular, man.
Yeah, right?
Whatever that is.
You keep... And everybody's arguing because they remember, hopefully...
What they picked for each
wrote
bracket.
Down here. You want your 4 in the final 4. So you're trying to sell your point. At the same time, majority wins. Okay, so then you go to the last question.
Where do people have more fun?
The Golden Gate Bridge or the 13th floor?
I don't know what's going on the 13th floor.
Right? So you would pick one of these, and then that would end up going up against the class champ of the, what is
people.
that? Yeah,
People.
AKA people. Contenders, AKA people. I couldn't read contenders upside down in cursive.
Then you
for
have
some reason.
actions, then you have things, because that's what they say
Yeah.
on the cards someplace.
So it was fun. We laughed pretty hard. I think I ended up with 3 points last night.
Yeah, I think Jackie did Jackie
won
win?
with 6. Yeah. It was fun. We're going to hold on to this one. We laughed pretty hard at this one. So
If you're a big person that does brackets, like for college basketball and stuff like that,
yeah.
it's an interesting
Even
game
if
to
you're
play.
not, I don't usually do anything with brackets, but I had a good time with it. It's a lot of convincing others to see your point of view, which again, I'm not usually really great at, but it was fun. And most of them were really obvious, and it was just fun to laugh about. So, but anyway, that is Party Playoff. We're going to hold on to this one. It's a great party game because this plays any number of people, 4 or more. So yeah, that's that. Oh, well, and you know what? That's it for this episode.
That wasn't a lot of games. Trust me, there's more coming.
Well, yes. Well, we've been trying to shorten these down a little bit because they were getting so long. We were playing almost 20 games in an episode, and it was just too much. So we decided to break it down a little more and make it a little faster.
Yep.
So I hope you are enjoying the shorter formats. That being said, the next one is not going to be a short one. I'm sorry.
No.
So yeah.
Until then, we'll see you at the next one.